So like I said, I'm in very hallowed grounds. These are practitioners, doers, and people who are influencing policy every day. In the interest of time, I'm going to dive right into the session, sir. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Patra. I'd like to ask, like, what can governments do today? I think somebody brought up the question is what is on the roadmap, but what do you think governments can do today to make India the most attractive destination for global tech investment?
I believe we need to have a unified policy as far as regulations are concerned. Now, before that, of course, I want to thank USIBC and this wonderful opportunity to share. What really is happening is you have various ministries. You have federal issues as well, center and state. You also have various ministries, various regulations, the RBI on one side. For example, at times on fintech, MeitY says it's not my problem. The RBI says it's not my problem. The Ministry of Finance says it's a software problem, goes to MeitY. So I face it because a number of startups engage with us, and because I'm on the Parliamentary Standing Committee on IT, they say that, can you help us try to jump over the hoops? It's not that the governments are not doing their part, they are. But when you have different silos, you need to unite them in one specific mesh that kind of provides a single unified solution. So if tomorrow anyone here wants to start a GCC in India, he or she should be able to go to one specific site, ask for the details, upload the details in a time-bound manner, be able to see what is the progress of the same, and be able to get all the regulations on one-stop shop. Once we are able to do that, the rest they are all aware of in terms of how to take it forward. Second would be skilled manpower, workforce, and that is not necessarily after they have graduated and trying to skill them. It is when they are in the school, the high schools, and in the undergraduate positions that you're able to do that, especially in STEM. We have done a lot because of market dynamics on management and education and others, but we need to do more on STEM. I'll keep it short because I know time is short, and being a politician, I can keep speaking as long as I want. So.
I think that's a really interesting. Thank you for that perspective. I'm going to ask you a question, right? You said it should be done. So what's preventing it?
I believe right now there are two areas where it is not coming through. One, uh, there needs to be a greater clarity in terms of where we want to take it forward. For example, there was a question earlier to Mr. Khadge as to responsible AI, when are we going to have a law to this effect? For example, we are very clear, not only in the Parliamentary Standing Committee, but as a government, that I feel that we are very clear that we are not going for legislations on the lines of EU AI Act as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. It's going to be a soft touch regulation. We are going to bring about guardrails, but those guardrails will not necessarily turn into a legislation and become so top heavy that we straitjacket innovation by preventing a more easier and a more comfortable use of data sources, etc. So that's one area where we're trying to, it's still early, I would say, in terms of taking it forward. But when talking about GCCs, I think the center and the states need to come on one platform. You just showed that right now, and the case in point was your presentation, that there are about 8 GCC frameworks in our country right now with respective states. I believe we need to have one national framework which kind of translates across the states. So if you're going to have one GCC framework or one policy per state, that's 28 policies, and you're going to have one at the national level, 29 policies, and you leave it to the corporates to then walk through that labyrinth, it's going to be more difficult. So therefore, if you have a unified single policy, center and states need to engage, find out the roadmap, come to a conclusion in terms of whether it's land, whether it's infrastructure, it's workforce, it's regulations, it's taxation, etc., should be more simplified.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I think that's a very good roadmap for us to embark on. The next person, sir, I'm going to move on to you. So you are obviously an IAS officer, Karnataka cadre. You're looking IAS officer, Karnataka cadre. Been the architect of many GCC policies and the building blocks of what we are seeing in enjoying today. Sir mentioned a unified policy, the thinking that it needs to be simplified. In your opinion, what are some of the things that have been done right, should be extended possibly to a national level? And what do you think are the marquee interventions that you have personally seen that is making a difference?
Yeah, firstly, I would like to say that over the last decade, the GCCs have transformed from the cost arbitrage model to value creation model. Similarly, Karnataka has transformed from IT outsourcing hub to an innovation powerhouse. Statistics you have mentioned and our Honorable Minister also mentioned, GCCs, we have 40% of GCCs in Karnataka and 35% of the workforce. So our minister also mentioned the two P's, people and policies. I would like to add two more things, ecosystem and collaboration between academy, industry and the government. As far as the talent is concerned, people is nothing but talent. Karnataka is very fortunate that right from the beginning, if you think of Karnataka 20 years back, entire country used to come to Karnataka to study engineering and medicine and other things. Basically, the turning point I will say is when Mysore Kings were there, Tatas have come out in a PPP model and set up IASC. And after that, the privatization of higher education started in Karnataka. That is the biggest contribution for IT and everything in the Karnataka. The next is ecosystem. How it happened is it didn't happen overnight. Ecosystem, for example, as mentioned by our minister also, we are the fourth largest technology cluster in the world. Initially, because of the climate and because of the educational institution talent available, the PSUs of Government of India came here. R&D labs came here. Many R&D labs, right from ISRO, NAL, HAL, everything is here. Then, because of all these things, now we say innovation, innovation, but innovation was happening at that time also in the research. Because of all these things, that innovation culture, that scientific culture has developed in Karnataka. In fact, if you see right now, last four, 5 years, we are leaders, number one in India Innovation Index in India. And secondly, the startup culture also. Startups are nothing but earlier also they were there, but now we call them startups. Startups also, if you see, some minister mentioned or maybe you mentioned, 40%. This 40%, I don't know how. Karnataka in the IT sector, I am watching IT sector for the 25 years. Right from the beginning, always Karnataka contributes 40% software to the country. 40% of unicorns are from the country. In the country, 40% GCCs are there in the Karnataka.
I think
So
the rule of 40 is being followed by Karnataka, I think.
so ecosystem why I'm mentioning is it has the technology culture it has brought. The third thing is policies, as Sir also mentioned and our Honorable Minister also mentioned. Right from the beginning, Karnataka was highly progressive. We were the first to have come out with IT policy, even before Government of India came out with a separate policy. In fact, you will be surprised, Karnataka government started the Department of IT in the government in 2000. Karnataka government started Karnataka government computer center in government in 1978. 1978, our secretariat salary bills were digitized by Karnataka government. At that time, no other government must have even thought about computers. I don't know.
Sir, I'm going to ask you a hard question here, right? I'm
Let
saying.
me complete.
Oh, sorry. Please go ahead.
So even e-governance department we started in 2003. So all these, because of the Karnataka, we came out with the startup policy even before Government of India came, ESDM policy, all these policies. Sir was saying that there should be unified policy. I agree. But if we had waited for Government of India to come out with these policies, at least I can name 10 sectoral policies which we came out first in Karnataka and then Government of India came out or other states have come out. Similarly, the GCC policy. So you mentioned what are the major interventions in GCC policy. Our GCC policy says that in the next 5 years, 24 it has come, so 29. By 29, we should get another 500 GCCs into Karnataka. That is our aim. Contribute 50 billion, you said 105 billion by 30 or something. We want to GCCs to contribute 50 billion US dollars. And we want As of now, it is said that about 600,000 professionals are in GCCs in Karnataka. We want to contribute another 3,500 new jobs should come. In the policy, there are 5 major items. One is regarding talent. Again, another is regarding ecosystem. Third is regulatory enablement. Fourth is fiscal incentives. Fifth is we have said that we will set up 3 global innovation districts in Bangalore 1 and 2 outside Bangalore. As far as talent is concerned, there are a lot of incentives in the policy. We want GCCs to train local people. For that, there is incentive. We want 1 lakh internships and apprenticeships given by GCCs. For that, there is stipend will be given by government. If we, beyond Bangalore, if GCCs go and recruit people, we are giving recruitment assistance also. In the ecosystem side also, we want GCCs to work with our ecosystem, work with our centers of excellence, work with our academic institutions, work with our startups. Further, there is an incentive. Enablement, regulatory enablement, there are some provisions where Karnataka government said we will start separate cell for GCCs, we will concentrate on GCCs, we will give approvals in 45 days, we will have a SPOC for each GCC for if there is any problem, and another various incentives are there. Last one which I mentioned is global innovation district. It is nothing but technology park where we want GCCs, startups, academic institutions and R&D institutions to coexist. And whichever GCC becomes the anchor industry, that means anchor means which goes first, will be given certain incentives. And there are certain other things also that if any GCC gives more than this much of employment, then a special package will be there in Bangalore and outside Bangalore. So these are the...
So sir, I'm going to start with the outside Bangalore and I'm going to come back to you, Dr. Patra, right? We said outside Bangalore. I know everybody's talked about the main hubs developing, but there are also emerging cities that are needing to be developed. I did mention that 15% of all GCCs are there, but we're saying from a units perspective, we have about 3,000 units, only 7% are in these emerging hubs. It is a very important thing as we develop and grow. How are both of you, and I'd like you both to answer this, and in the interest of time, if you could make it really short, it'll be appreciated. If you could tell us what do you think is being done and what needs to be done to get them to be as impactful as the established cities?
You see, firstly, you have to have skilled manpower right where you want to have GCCs. It takes care of your attrition. It ensures sustainability of resources. At the same point of time, infrastructure. Now, let's say I come from the state of Odisha. Bhubaneswar has, as a tier 2 city, has emerged as one of the key cities as far as the GCCs are concerned. Recently, Accenture came, Deloitte is there, so on and so forth. The point is why it has been successful. As a city, Bhubaneswar became the ranked 1 smart city in the country in the first competition itself. It gave some amount of impetus. Secondly is the kind of branding that actually brings recognition to that city itself. The Hockey World Cup in 2018, the Hockey World Cup in 2023, all of them again pitchforked the city as a city which was happening and brought in a lot of attention. So what we essentially need is awareness. Then you need to have manpower, as in people. Third, you need to have infrastructure. And fourth, you need to have a stable ecosystem where you're going to have, as Mr. Reddy said, you have research, you have an ecosystem of innovation, and you're able to skill people. Unless and until you have effectively skilled people, skilling in India is seen as probably something at after the 12th standard or so. No. Skilling is about someone who is a postgraduate in mathematics. Is he skilled enough in artificial intelligence in able to deploy himself into that specific? So skilling is going to be an ongoing process. And if we are able to do that in the tier 2, 3 cities, I think we'll be able to do well.
Great. I'm going to actually move to you, sir, for a second, then I'll come back to you. We talked about skills, we talked about what is needed, and I think sir also alluded to the fact that we are looking at AI at X generation skills. You obviously, as the CTO or deputy CTO of ICICI Bank, are in the thick of it. You're looking at cyber skills, new age AI skills. A lot of your processes are getting automated. Would love to understand how you are thinking of talent and tapping into the Indian ecosystem to access that talent. And what are you doing to give back to the ecosystem to develop that talent?
No, perfect. I think, no, first off, thanks for having me here. Uh, I think as bankers to a number of GCCs and also through our international presence, look, bankers to a number of MNCs in their home countries, we get a very ringside view of the evolution of the ecosystem, and we've been watching with pride as to how it just simply it's been folding out. See, I think on the skill system and how do we, the symbiotic relationship. I think the Indian financial services, the Indian ecosystem itself has been growing phenomenally, and it has, it's seen phenomenal evolution. If you look at the UPI ecosystem from 18 billion transactions a month, now we are now moving to CBDC, the digital currency, central bank digital currency. We stabilized our credit bureau ecosystem, and from there now we are moving to account aggregator, where we are now sharing liabilities data. We stabilize so a number of these symbiotic pieces are taking off. I think from a skilling perspective, I look at skilling in three levels. One is, of course, sir spoke about the engineering colleges which were there in Karnataka long ago. I think at three levels we need to keep growing, keep working harder to make sure that we are upskilling ourselves. One is at the entry level. How do we make sure that our the raw talent that comes out becomes more and more industry ready, more and more skilled. At the middle levels, I think it's a combination of technical as well as functional skills, right? So, for example, as a banker, I can say that it's then not just being about, let's say, full stack developer, but also about how well can you understand the functional side of it and bring that to bear in your daily job. So again, through more programs, etc. How do you get techno-functional people more and more into the fray there? And at the senior most levels, of course, there were lots of examples of how people from GCCs have gone on to lead global roles. And I think we need to keep seeing more and more of that. And we have a vibrant startup ecosystem. Startup ecosystem can give variety of life experiences, and those people can go on to lead this stuff. So I think a combination of a very vibrant Indian ecosystem along with the three-tiered skilling is how I'll put on that can be a recipe for success there.
Got it, great, thank you. I think we're also going to do two interventions from the audience. So while we talked about banking, honestly today there is no company that's not a tech company. If you're a bank, you're still a tech company. If you're a retail company, you're still a tech company, and that is the reality that we live in today.